There's a strange moment when you realize the life you're living might not be the one your body was built for. Just stay with that thought for a moment. Nothing dramatic happened. Nothing broke overnight. It simply drifted, quietly, until most of us forgot what was lost. Most people don't notice the change when it happens. There's no single meal that does it. No sudden illness. No clear moment when the body gives up and announces its confusion. Instead, it shows up as a low hum of fatigue, a dull heaviness after eating, a sense that strength requires constant effort now, discipline, tracking, motivation. And underneath all of it, an unspoken question. Why does living well feel so complicated? We are told the answer is progress. That modern life is easier, safer, more advanced. But the body doesn't seem convinced. Bones ache where they shouldn't. Hunger appears at strange hours. Food fills the stomach but not the system. This isn't a crisis. It's quieter than that. It's the feeling that something once worked, naturally, effortlessly, and no longer does. Not because we failed, but because the world changed faster than the body could follow. Modern culture tells a clean story about food. That we used to eat poorly. That people were weak, malnourished, short-lived. That progress rescued us with science, convenience, and abundance. We are told health now requires management. Calories counted. Macronutrients are balanced. Protein measured. Supplements added back in, one deficiency at a time. Movement, too, has been isolated, removed from life, compressed into scheduled sessions. An hour at the gym to undo a day at the desk. A routine to correct what daily living no longer provides. The message is subtle but constant. Your body is a problem to be solved. Your instincts can't be trusted. Health is technical now. And if something feels wrong, the answer must be more control. More rules. More products. More optimization. This story sounds logical. It sounds scientific. But it rests on a fragile assumption that the human body is new. It isn't. For most of European history, food was not a choice. It was a rhythm. In medieval villages, diets were shaped by land, season, and labor, not ideology. Bread formed the foundation. Not white, airy loaves, but dense, dark bread made from rye, barley, oats, or spelt. Grain was soaked, fermented, or slowly leavened because it had to be. Time wasn't optional. It was built into survival. Vegetables were not side dishes. They were staples. Cabbage, leeks, onions, turnips, peas, beans. Cooked slowly. Often stewed together. Meat was present, but not dominant. When it appeared, it was used fully. Bones for broth. Fat rendered and saved. Organs consumed without hesitation. Dairy, when available, was raw or lightly cultured. Butter, cheese, whey, buttermilk. And then there were monasteries. Places like Cluny Abbey or communities guided by the Cistercian order lived with astonishing dietary consistency. Monks ate simply, seasonally, repetitively. Not because of ignorance, but because repetition created stability. The food was local, fresh, unrefined. In early America, the pattern continued. At settlements like Plymouth Colony, diets mirrored European peasant traditions. Corn, beans, squash, salted fish, fermented vegetables, porridge and stews. Meals were eaten after work, not before it. The body was fed to recover, not stimulated to keep going. Strength emerged as a byproduct of life, not a goal. The human digestive system is slow by design. It expects food that takes time. Time to chew. Time to break down. Time to move. When grains are soaked or fermented, enzymes begin the work before the body ever does. Complex carbohydrates become gentler. Minerals become available. The gut is supported rather than overwhelmed. Fiber wasn't a supplement. It was unavoidable. Vegetables, roots, legumes, they fed gut bacteria steadily, not sporadically. Fats came from animals and plants that lived in the same environment as the people consuming them. They were stable, satiating, recognizable. And protein came packaged with connective tissue, collagen, minerals. Nothing was isolated. Nothing was extracted. Blood sugar rose slowly. Energy lasted longer. Hunger made sense. This wasn't optimization. It was an alignment. The body recognized the food because it evolved alongside it. And that recognition mattered. If this is changing how you see food, let the algorithm know by liking this video. The shift didn't happen all at once. It began with milling. Stone mills gave way to steel rollers. Grain could be stripped, refined, and stored indefinitely. Bread became lighter, softer, faster, and nutritionally hollow. Industrialization rewarded speed and scale. Fermentation took too long. Seasonality limited profit. Local variation complicated distribution. So food was simplified, separated into parts, reassembled for consistency. Sugar became cheap. White flour is ubiquitous. Vegetable oils extracted under heat and pressure. Meals no longer followed labor. They followed the clock. Breakfast to start the day. Snacks to maintain productivity. Caffeine to override fatigue. Eating became stimulation rather than restoration. The body adapted, as it always does. But adaptation isn't the same as thriving. The modern body isn't broken. It's overwhelming. Digestion faces foods it wasn't designed to recognize. Refined starches without fiber, fats without context, sugars without restraint. Blood sugar spikes quickly, then falls. Hunger returns early. Energy feels unstable. The gut, once fed slowly and consistently, now swings between extremes. Overfed. Undernourished. Inflammation becomes common, not as disease, but as background noise. Sleep grows lighter. Recovery slower. None of this is dramatic. That's why it's so easy to ignore. But over time, the body begins to mistrust its signals. Hunger feels urgent. Fullness feels unsatisfying. Food becomes confusing. The past doesn't offer rules. It offers patterns. Eat foods that require time, to grow, to prepare, to digest. Favor meals that combine elements naturally, fats with proteins, carbohydrates with fiber. Let repetition create stability. Not variety for novelty's sake, but familiarity that allows the body to relax. Eat after effort when possible. Allow hunger to build and resolve. Use fermentation not as a trend, but as tradition. These aren't hacks. They are reminders. The body doesn't need constant intervention. It needs cooperation. The people of the past weren't healthier because they knew more. They were healthier because they lived closer to the limits and rhythms of being human. Their food made sense. Their hunger made sense. Their strength was not separated from life. It was woven into it. We don't need to go backward. But we do need to remember. Not everything old was wrong. Not everything modern is better. Sometimes the most radical act is simply to eat in a way the body understands. Quietly. Consistently. Without drama. If you want to keep exploring the truths modern life forgot, subscribe and stay with us.